Okay, so the thought is, especially because I deal with the devils that torture me talk to me, and they have for 5 years when the devil Rumpelstiltskin came. Uh, so there's been time to time when the devils want to know about what they're doing, the evil that they're doing, and the karmic burden that they're incurring, and sometimes it becomes a question of I've got so many mountains which became worlds, literally worlds, full of what do I mean by? Well, you do one bad thing, you tell a little white lie, well, you get a little tiny bit of karma, little tiny, teeny, teeny, teeny. But when you have an active torture campaign attempting to murder somebody like me, which they do every day, um, well, it just creates unbelievable, horrible karma for the people that are conducting this, attack on me. So but because this would be very problematic because at one time the devils told me we already before we even came to start attacking you, we already had such unbelievably horrible karma. We don't see any reason to stop being devils because we already know we're so fucking hooped with our bad karma. We're never going to be able to pay off the existing bad karma we have. So it's like, why stop being a devil? Because, we're so fucked. They think there's no way that we can ever pay off all of this stuff. And so it's like, it's no, what would you call it? It doesn't dissuade us. Bad karma doesn't dissuade us from evil doing because and then it becomes, well, yeah, I can see your argument. I mean, really, rationally you can see it, and you can see why. Devils keep deviling because they say, well, we're already fucking hooped anyways. So, but the answer that we've been given through the years is it's never too late to change, even if you're a horrible, horrible dirt devil. And how does that work? Well, um, Hanuman has to be consulted on these kind of questions because we had some ideas, but we're being corrected on these things. So because I don't know, we had some information. Okay, do we have an answer? The answer that I'm going to give you, the answer that is a good answer, the answer that is a worthwhile answer. Give people an opportunity, even the worst devils, to pay off their karma without incurring zillions of years of being in the lake of fire. Well, the stories that Stuart Wilde tells us of finding devils when he was given a tour of the galaxy by, the beings, he called it. StuartWilde.com, StuartWilde.com. And if you want to know stories about what goes on in the other worlds, Stuart Wilde's got them. What other worlds? Well, in quantum physics, they have what's known as the many worlds interpretation and they showed us that in old TV shows like Sliders and Quantum Leap. And even in Star Trek, in certain episodes, they show multiple versions of Earth, etc. Anyway, Stuart Wilde did go on a tour of the universe, and he found a place called the Wall. And the Wall was a place where bad people were stuck. They were stuck to the wall. I don't know, velcroed in, I suppose. And they stayed there forever, and they degraded away into goo. Um, Unbelievable vast numbers of devils. That might be some place where you might find Adolf Hitler. Um, it's just not a good story for me to tell because it doesn't help my situation. And seriously, I want the devils off my back. And if the devils say, well, I have no incentive to change, then This philosophy that Mr. Wilde has given you, and whether he saw it or not, doesn't necessarily mean it's true. It could have been a ghoul feed. A ghoul feed is when a ghoul tells you a bunch of stuff to disempower you. So I want to empower everybody who feels like they have got too much bad karma or they did something so horrible. Well, when I was like, I don't know, there's lots of examples of things that can happen. Anyways, so the answer is to empower you is when you raise your consciousness and let go of your ego, you rise in consciousness. And as you rise in consciousness, you counteract the negativity. Well, if you're at, say, 850 on the scale of human consciousness, you could counterbalance perhaps millions of people's bad negativity. Because the higher you go on the scale of human consciousness, the more spiritual power you have. And so we are given to believe that as you go higher and higher in consciousness, and if you become, an enlightened Buddha, that your spiritual power is more than enough to deal with the bad karma from, your previous lifetimes when you were a devil. So we're going to muscle test to see if that's true. So we're going to say, if you rise up to higher levels of consciousness, you have a much easier time burning off your old karma, even if it's what I call worlds and worlds and worlds worth of solid bad karma. So we have permission to test that? We don't have permission to test that. I'm sorry. Well, that's what I got. Okay, so what I can do if I don't have what I want, then I can do a chest thump. This resets your acupuncture system. Okay, and then, so we're going to try the same thing, and we have permission? We don't have permission. Well, that's a son of a bitch. What does that mean? Well, either I'm being blocked by the devils, which they can screw up my thing, or I don't have a permission. I don't have a permission slip from God. And that was clearly snuck in by the devils. So what does that mean from the devil's perspective? I don't know. They're very odd sometimes. Anyhow, I don't want to disempower anybody. With my own way of saying it, based upon what I've known from Dr. Hawkins, if you think you've got such horrible bad karma, don't let it stop you. When you go to higher levels of consciousness, you can easily deal with all of this past karma. Easily. It won't be like me. Why? Because we are in a third dimensional reality. And when you become enlightened, you get to go to much, much better worlds where people aren't out to kill you. So, I don't know. Because I want to be empowering even the worst devils, that they can change and they won't have to have a horrible. I know, but then they're going to continue on torturing you thinking, well, there's no karma. I'm not going to say that you're not going to experience horrible because you did horrible in the past. It's just that your spiritual ability to weather that storm is going to be a lot better than if you're calibrating at 190 pride. It's just because when you become more and more spiritual, it's a horrible, but you can do it. It's not fun. It ain't going to be fun. Or is it? I don't know, because I don't know. In the end, I'm very disappointed the way this video turned out. Because it's not empowering, so I'm not going to use it.